Yo, what's up, guys? Steve here with Scotch and Things. Gonna do a truck video, a new truck video. So if you watched the last couple of videos, or last video talking about, yes, I'm getting a new truck. It just the vehicle drama I think that I go through. I don't know, it's just bizarre. So after, if you watch that last video, I'm talking about, what trucks we're getting rid of and this and that. And I got rid of the white 24 single wheel 1 ton, that was my daily, and then the 16 black dually 1 ton. And the 1 ton, that motor, the motor was great. It was just little stuff because it was a 10-year-old truck. Like 5 minutes after making that video, my guy calls me. He's like, I lost power. I was like, oh god. So this thing had and we're out in western Nebraska, and it's a little more hilly, and we had 20 miles to go through some hills pulling a heavy trailer. It was a nightmare. Talked to the mechanic. He's like, yeah, it's not, there were no engine codes, so nothing. He's like, just take it easy. Once we got it unhooked from the trailer, it could do about 65 was the max. Ended up being a broken air-to-air coupler. I told him, I was like, dude, this was Thursday. I'm like, man, this truck is set to be traded in Saturday. And he's not open on the weekends, but he got up early. We got back into town about 11 o'clock on Friday night. Me and the guy that brought the trucks back. And, yeah, he got up and got it fixed and everything. So yeah, in the new truck, stuck with GMC. This was the time, as with last time, my father-in-law is a big Chevy GM guy. And when I got the 24 GMC, I started thinking, all right, is this time we switch brands? And just kind of researching. I like the GM, I love the Duramax, I love the 10-speed that's in here. I know it's co-developed with Ford, and it's not really an Allison anymore, but it pulls so smoothly. Yeah, and then I just like the GMC, I just like the looks over the Chevy, personally. So yeah, those 2 trucks are gone. The truck that was crashed is getting fixed, and that's gonna keep that as a backup truck. So yeah, I wanted even though I had a 1-ton dually, I wanted a reliable, and even though, this might not be super, a new truck can be not reliable, right? I wanted, let's just make it simple, all right? Get rid of a couple trucks, just get 1 dually, and I'll just do all the pulling. So that being said, I spent a lot of time in the truck and pulling and just driving in general for work. And this time I was like, screw it, I am getting every fucking option I can. My white truck, I bought it at the end of end of December 2 years ago, and when the same thing, business owners who need to spend money are buying equipment, and trucks make sense. There wasn't a lot to choose from, and I got zero. I was excited to get a bed cam. I thought, oh, I'm getting a new vehicle. Didn't have that. Didn't have the power folding mirrors, which is a huge deal with these big trucks, especially when you're getting into the hotel at night and it's dark and you're trying to cram these big things into the parking spaces and there's vehicles everywhere. So yeah, I went with the GMC Denali Ultimate. If you can see the leather, I just liked it better. I was working on a couple deals, so, and then again, we're, end of November, not a whole lot of these trucks around. There were 2 Denali Ultimates in the state of Nebraska. Called on one and it had sold, and then there was another just Denali. So then I had the Denali. There was a Denali down in Oklahoma where I had gotten my original truck from. my white one, and they weren't really cool on working a deal this time. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to drive all that way. So then I was just working in Omaha. You know, there was a black Denali Ultimate, or I'm sorry, a black Denali, and then this silver gray, this kind of gunmetal gray, which is my favorite color for a vehicle. Denali Ultimate. And finally I got them down and to where the deal was pretty close. I'm like, yeah, okay, $1,000 more for all these options. Yeah, that's the way to go. So let me flip it. I'm gonna stop the camera, flip it around, and show you the inside of the truck real quick. Okay, I'm gonna try to make this quick. I'm on my way to go get my DOT numbers and company name put on the side of the truck. Little bit of differences. So my last truck had the bench, which this folded down, this could fold up, and you could put a person here. And I think that's having this, you know, bucket seat configuration is why kind of all this changed. In my last truck, like there was a holder up here for sunglasses or whatever. These vents weren't here, and this screen was moved up. I think I like the screen up more, but I do like how they have lowered it, and then this, all the AC units and whatever, it was also flat in my last truck, and now they've angled it, so it's easier to see, which I really, really like. All your buttons down here, your exhaust brake, all the goody stuff. Trailer brake is right here, which I think is it's always been here before. Kind of, I don't know, it's kind of in the way here, but I guess if you need it quick, whatever. All the four-wheel drive options. I've never had the four-wheel drive auto before. That's only an option on the more option trucks, and what I gather, it's just for cruising around in town. Like, that's not something I'm gonna be using on the job site. Heads-up display, which you probably can't see, which is really nice. I've never had that before. The seats are awesome. Yeah, heated, cooled, massaging. So real fan of that. For, like I said, when you spend hours and hours and hours just driving. Sunroof, I've never had that in a truck. You know, the headliner is suede or whatever. Yeah, leather, just the appointments. So it's got, and then just the camera system. So this is like what my biggest, where's the bed view camera? Dang it. I should probably get better at this. There we go. Bed view camera. And then you can zoom in, which is nice. I know how to use the lines on my you know, tailgate to line the gooseneck up, but then it's just finding that height, especially when you're by yourself. You know, you pull far, you're just constantly back and forth, 2 inches forward, 3 inches back, until you get it right over the ball. This is going to be a time saver. Power folding mirrors, I've had them on all the other trucks. My last truck didn't have it. Giant pain in the ass on a big truck like this to not have power folding mirrors. So like I said, all the camera options. I'm just super happy. It just, when I was younger, thinking of spending this much money on a vehicle, I would have thought it would have been for a sports car, but no, it's a pickup truck. So we'll go outside real quick. It is super freaking windy right now, so I just want to give you kind of an outside view of the truck. And then I got to get going to my appointment. So if you've seen, there's a picture of it on Instagram. Like the Ultimate, it's got the Vader, the blacked out chrome grille, and some stuff like that. But that's about the only difference. But we'll show you real quick. Just the outside of the truck. It's a stunning vehicle. I love this color. The power running boards, we'll see how they do. Here's the front of it. We'll see how the power running boards do in the mud, on the gravel roads. A lot of stuff collects there on the other type of running board, so we'll see if anything gets in there and messes it up. I've got a rolling tonneau cover that I took off my last truck that I will put back on this one. And then it's got the multi-pro. I'm not going to show you, it's so windy. Go inside and talk. It's got the multi-pro tailgate, which my last truck had. Kind of a gimmick, I guess. It works okay, but there's, you know, it folds down into a step. But there's steps in the bumper and on the side of the bed. So I get it. You know, Ford was doing it first, so then GM had to come up with something. It's got speakers in it, which I don't know. So there you go, guys. GMC Denali Ultimate dual rear wheel. So I am in love with this truck. Like, who needs a sports car? But thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.